I'm not sure how long ago it happened. We don't have time anymore, so that really isn't relevant. Were I to guess, it would be between 2 years and a decade. It's really that hard to keep track. Everything was going along as it should when we were hit by the big stop. People tried to name it different things: the change, the end, the eternal twilight. I rather like that one. But it seemed the big stop is what ended up being the winner. Regardless of what we call it, one day everything just came to a stop. It was instantaneous. 1 minute, everyone was going about their daily lives, and then, well, there were no more minutes. It is always simply now. The earth seemed to have moved. The stars are different. The moon never changes phases, and the sun is missing. The tide stopped with the moon. The rivers stopped as well. There is no wind. There are no storms. Everywhere, it is 70 degrees Fahrenheit, though neither ice nor snow melt. They are 70 degrees as well. Everything is. Everywhere, there is a horizon of soft lighting that never changes. We don't know where it comes from. It looks like a sunrise or a sunset without the sun. It's dominated by purples, blues, and pinks, so we eventually agreed, most of us anyway, to call it twilight. It's not. We don't know what it actually is, but there isn't a word for what it was, so we made ourselves more comfortable by calling it twilight. Perhaps it makes us feel as though eventually the sun will rise again and things will go back to normal. The clocks did not work. The gears quit moving. The electronics cannot count for us anymore either. Metronomes and pendulums have all quit as well. Sand will no longer pour through an hourglass. Any new attempt at finding a way to try has failed. Scientists do not know why certain electrical impulses are functioning when others aren't. We can think and we can move, but we do not live. Time has found a way to remove itself from our existence. Some people tried counting. There were organizations worldwide dedicated to trying to keep time. They tried to be very official and professional about it. Large buildings filled with people, with shifts being taken and notes being jotted down, and time counters just sitting there counting non-existent seconds. They had no heartbeat to rely on, no breathing cycle to tune into, no way to know if they were indeed keeping accurate time. The estimates began changing. It became a fruitless endeavor. There is no keeping time. We are forever being kept in the now. They eventually stopped. Most of them. Some went mad. We do not have heartbeats. We do not eat food. We only breathe when we need to speak, and from what the scientists say, we don't change the air when we do. Plants that were alive when it happened still look the same, but they do not photosynthesize the light or grow or die. Our cells no longer change, neither do we. We're not alive, but we move, we think, we are. No one dies. Nothing decays, nothing ages, nothing changes. Everything just is. If it is changed, it will ever remain so. A flower that is plucked will never grow older, but a new flower will never grow to take its place. The same is true for fruits and vegetables. It was unbearably traumatizing for the people working in slaughterhouses when it happened. There are mass burials for various states of animals and processed animal matter, as we can no longer burn things. There's no more fire. Fire needs to eat, and nothing can change to fuel it. It's been hardest on pregnant women. They do not give birth. Their bellies remain swollen, yet they are absent of life, as are the women. When they first tried to give C-sections to cattle and pigs, they found that the infants can be removed, but never age past the level of gestation they are at. They don't know how to breathe or cry. They do very little moving as they have no needs. They're not dead. They're not alive. Some parents chose to have the babies delivered and treat them as little dolls. Some decided to get rid of the babies. They are unable to deal with something that was sitting inside of them, no longer growing, never being able to reach the point where it will be born. The animals are confused as well. No one can explain to them what is happening. Some are now feral. Some seem used to the now. Some just stop moving, the older ones generally. They sit in perpetual silence, furred, feathered, and finned statues. They cannot die as they're not alive. They're just as aware as we are, and they apparently feel pain. Some people harvest their skins for decoration, and the animals scream. Some take their heads to mount on walls, and once they can no longer breathe to scream, they move. It's horrible. We have to be careful not to hurt ourselves. Our bodies do not heal anymore. We can be stitched up and we do not bleed, but we will always have scars. Some injured people lose limbs. Some people collect limbs. Some people collect heads now. They have galleries similar to Mombi's collection in Return to Oz, filled with the heads of the people they have taken. The bodies are discarded, buried like the livestock of the babies. It appears that our brains still function without our bodies. I do not know what happens if we lose our brains. I'm afraid of finding out. I mentioned we have no fire. Combustion engines no longer work. There is no wind for sails to grasp at, no currents to drag a boat across the sea. The rivers may as well be long ponds as they are now. We lurk near our computers, which at least now never quit working. The scientists don't know why that is either, but will not thumb our noses at communication. Of course, all of the old music, movies, television shows, and other entertainments from the past are gone. They would be able to give us time. This is why people believe that time itself is aware and has done this on purpose. If this is true, I do not know what we did to earn its wrath. Then again, maybe this isn't meant to be a punishment. Who can claim to understand time? People try to guard the most beautiful natural places now. Parks were stripped of bare flowers and leaves before we learned that they would never grow back. We don't know if it will ever get past the now, but while we're in it, we try to keep things that we can to anchor ourselves with. Some people hope that there will eventually be a future and try to gather as many funds as they can if we're ever to return to requiring resources again. All we have are live streams and message boards and podcasts and new things to watch. We feed each other the fruits of our mind as that is all we have left to nourish. Some people just fade out we don't have the words anymore, but we can only guess as to how long based on social interactions with people still trying to estimate time. Some fade out for what might be forever, if forever can be said to exist anymore. Excluding travel, no one is in need of resources outside of entertainment. Some people enjoy tasting things, but eating doesn't work so well. Chewing doesn't lead to salivating or to digestion, so the masticated material simply fills the body's esophagus until it has no more room. We can smell things if we decide to breathe. We can see things, we can hear things, we can imagine and create things. We can destroy things, but not completely. There are so many mass burial areas. Nature cannot take over again. Nothing grows. Nothing new outside of our minds is going to exist again. All we have is now, and the things that were around when it happened, those that haven't been destroyed or taken. People are desperate for interaction, for something new. Body mods are on the rise. All of the new media is flourishing, but some vast majority of people have become simple redundancies. Those who are creators do what they can, starving for new ideas. Many people go mad, and some become violent. In order to save space, we just take their heads. It's easier than locking them in rooms, and we know it works. Morality be damned. I wonder if I'm in hell. Is this eternal quasi-stagnation something real? Is it just for me, or are the others real as well? Is it the only hell? Are there that many of us who deserve being stripped of time that we can populate the entire world of a moment? I wish it were a dream and I could hope to wake up, but I know it must be real. I just don't know where I am. I only know when. I only know now.